back to another episode of Rocky Mountain Redemption. We're your hosts, Daniel and Samuel Westbrook. Today we're going to be talking about the governor race for Colorado. Well, I wanted to start off by going through the some of the candidates. You want to start with Democrats?
Do I want to start with Democrats?
I don't know, do you?
No.
No?
No. No, I think we just stick with the front runners. And really, there's only two, because the Democrats have a unique ability to just all gather behind one guy, whether they really like him or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're aiming for winning. Almost like the Republican Party should do something similar to that.
Well, yeah.
Unify on winning. I mean, I saw this deal on Facebook this morning, actually, before we were shooting, and it was funny. It's funny because I don't remember if I've got it here or not, but basically it was saying in the post that see if I can quote it: the Republicans who stay home elect Democrats.
Yep.
If you stay home, you don't vote, you don't get involved. You are still involved. That's why there's no such thing as a neutral party.
Yeah.
Either you're in it or you're in it. But sure, we will start off here with Senator Michael Bennet.
I'll start with he's a very experienced federal legislator.
Experienced. I mean, he's got a lengthy amount of time in there for sure.
Yeah.
He's been in the Senate for a very long time. He's very well known. He's a very typical Democrat. He's not necessarily a standout. You know, he gets in the news every once in a while, but it's only mimicking or echoing all of their same old talking points that they do.
Yeah, nothing spectacular.
No, there's nothing super significant about him, which is typical of a congressman that comes out of Congress into the governorship.
Yeah, and he's very focused on bipartisanship.
Bipartisan?
Yeah. He wants to, like you said, bring all these same topics that the Democrats talk about all the time. And he's not really a standout guy with real drastic policies. He wants stuff, that'll get votes from both sides. You get the Democrats, you'll also get the rhinos. He wants to be bipartisan.
It's not really bipartisan.
Well, that's the reality of it. He'll get the Republican rhinos is what he'll get.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. And that's how they
all
get
it needs, right? Because Republicans don't actually show up and vote. So they just get whatever default figure shows up. It's typically a Democrat inserted individual.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. I mean, they talk about.
Shout out to Barbara Kirkmeyer.
Yes. Yes. Well, and for Michael Bennet, he's the leading fundraiser. Obviously, he's got the most.
He's got the most name ID across the state. He's certainly familiar. He's not a nobody.
He's what I would call their top candidate.
Yeah.
He's the big front runner over Phil Weiser.
Phil Weiser's got some good name ID too. The only issue though is their campaigns aren't all that different.
Yeah.
They're pretty similar. They're running on the same issues. That's because they're going for the same base. They don't have, a wide variety of opinions over there. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't really care, but they don't. Both of their campaigns are largely structured around subsidize everything. And if you can't subsidize it, create a government program to undercut all the private sector parts of it, whatever sector we're talking about, create a government run program that they can subsidize and thus undercut all the private sector individuals, which would run business out, which is their goal.
Run business out and give control to him.
Yeah, no, which is their goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what socialism and communism and all that is that they're going to run businesses out of the state by undercutting them all.
Yeah.
Which ultimately means that you're paying for it. You no longer have the option to choose between companies. You're going to pay for it. And if you want a different company, then you're going to pay for them too.
Yeah.
Doubly, because I don't know if you know this or not, but all government money is individuals' money. It is citizen money. They have no money except for the citizens.
Yep. And if I'm remembering right, he was Michael Bennett was the superintendent for Denver schools too, right?
I have seen that.
Yeah, I think that was 2005 to 2009. I think is when he was that.
Yeah,
superintendent.
Couldn't necessarily confirm that for you, but I'm sure that's relatively accurate.
He was, yeah. So he's definitely been very well known in Colorado. You know, obviously he's in the Senate now, but he's been all over the state doing all kinds of stuff, causing all kinds of havoc. But yeah, like you said, they talk about the same topics, the same ideas, climate, global warming, all that good stuff.
Which is funny to me that we're still hounding on the climate change thing, because that's kind of old news. There's climate change isn't real.
Yeah.
And at this point, it has been thoroughly exposed to be just a matter of an excuse for them to tax us.
Yeah.
To increase taxes and to take more of our money in the name of what? It's not like the ocean's going to rise to 6 or 7, 8,000 feet.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
I don't know. It really, it's just an excuse to electrify everything, to set up a bunch of unreliable green energy, wind farms, solar farms, whatever you want to call it. There's no, it's proven to be unreliable, and it doesn't even pay for itself. So we're going to launch ourselves into complete bankruptcy on this whole energy thing. And on top of that, everybody's going to get to be cold in the winter. It really is what's coming down to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that's going to end up being. And their goals of being net zero by 2050 pretty much puts a timeline on us on beating them out of office, because it's the only way we're going to stop them.
Yeah.
Which means you have to get involved and you have to vote. And whether you like the candidate or not, if you don't vote, you're voting for a Democrat. You might actually be voting for a Democrat in this state.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't show up and vote in person, there's a good chance your ballot's going to get tossed out.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Yeah. It's been kind of a problem recently on the federal level too.
Well, yeah. And see, voter ID, that's been getting tossed around. I mean, on more than just the state level. That's been a national issue, and obviously Donald Trump's been in the news talking about this and pushing for it. But
yep,
you watch a lot of these Democrat politicians compare it to Jim Crow laws, and you're like, it's Jim Crow laws to require an ID? Okay. Well, what about at the liquor store? Is it Jim Crow there? What about when you are getting pulled over and you've got to show your ID to a cop? Is that Jim Crow too? They'd probably argue yes.
Probably.
What about literally anything else that requires you to have an ID?
Well, I think the whole idea is that they want to turn it into a gray area. They don't want, we're watching all this illegal immigrant stuff going on right now. And they want to protect the illegal immigrants. But if they can turn it into a gray area, yeah, why not? Why not stop showing your ID for anything? Because then nobody knows who you are. You can do whatever you want, and there's no repercussions.
Yeah, that's the idea, I think.
You're a legal immigrant, you can go do whatever you want. You can go into law enforcement, you can wreak havoc in there, and you can be a teacher, and you could, be an illegal immigrant who's also a pedophile.
Right. Nobody has any way of verifying who you are, so
yeah,
they can't say you're not what you say you are, right?
That's the gist of the argument all the way across the board. It doesn't really matter. Voter ID, you got to have your ID to buy alcohol, nicotine, whatever. It's all the same concept. And for those, I mean, it's those are about age, but really it's the same thing. They don't like it when you come in there with a fake ID, right? They're going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crime.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be punished for that, not just have it taken away from you, but you can, at the very minimum, you can have a ticket written to you, if not taken into custody for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and why is it different for voting officials into government?
Well, see, my friend, I think that's the magical question that you're getting into there. They don't want you to ask that question. You're just supposed to accept it because they're right. They're the experts. That's how dare you question it? Why is it different from needing a driver's license to drive a car? Arguably, a driver's license to drive a car is more restrictive because a car provides far more freedom than voting does necessarily. Right? I mean, that's a huge, that's freedom of movement. And if you can't move around, then you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But I think the answer to that question is a very sinister answer. It's not, there's not a benign explanation for why they would not want voter ID, especially Fox News, or not Fox, sorry. It was one of the major networks. They were reporting the other day that 91% of Republicans are behind voter ID. 91%. That should be a total shoo-in for Republicans currently, especially federally, but 70% of Democrats are for voter ID. 70%.
Interesting.
I saw this in an interview. They were conducting an interview with Chuck Schumer. And when asked about it, they stated that. They said 91% of Republicans and 70% of Democrats agree with voter ID, which tells you that the problem isn't the people. When you have a bipartisan agreement on that scale,
yeah,
the problem's not the people. The problem is the politicians. See, because they know that they're going to get rejected and they're going to get booted out. Yep. So they bring in illegal aliens. They write laws to allow them to work here, to obtain some form of identification so that they can get jobs and they can stay here, and that's their voter base.
Well, and then what's at stake? Power, money, authority, control.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. No, so that there's no benign explanation for why they wouldn't want voter ID. It's just a matter of maintaining power. Is all it is. The more, like you said, the more gray it is, the more vague the whole system is, the less accountability can be performed, and the less you can trust it, the less accurate it is. You have to take their word for it that way because there's nobody else that can give you an accurate number.
Yeah. Well, and then at that point, you get into the entire problem because we hire government officials to represent us as the people, right? You have your state representatives, all that. And when they are no longer servants in leadership, servant leaders hired to do a duty to serve the people, that's what you get. Fraud, right? Deceit. I want to stay in power, so we should not have voter ID. We should just muddy the waters a little bit so they don't know for sure, that kind of thing.
Speaking of fraud, I thought this would be a fun one to bring up. Just for the people who are paying attention and have noticed what's going on nationally. One of Michael Benefit's one of Michael Bennett's campaigning issues is, quote, affordable child care for working families. What does that sound like to you?
Affordable child care for working families. Somali daycare?
He's going to say kind of rhymes with daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rhymes with daycare. That sounds that sounds like government subsidy.
So are we trying to turn into the Minnesota government here? Is that what's going on? Is that what he wants?
Well, that was my assumption. And see, one of the things that I did a little digging, and what they're after there is government subsidies. They're after taxpayer dollars going to daycares, going to learning centers, going to non-emergency health centers. All the same titles and all the same names you saw come out of Minnesota and out of Minneapolis. That's the wording. That's what they're going for with that. So yeah. They're setting up. They're going to try it here because, unfortunately, a lot of the politicians in Minnesota have not been held accountable for that. There's been no punishment dealt out for doing that, for having that massive amounts of fraud. And so, yeah, you bet your happy butt the rest of the deep blue states are going to start mimicking. They're going to start copying. Yeah. And Colorado's no exception.
Well, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit if it's already happening.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
But yeah, trying to pass this would just make it that much easier for them.
Well, yeah, I mean, this the way it read, it was more of an expansion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, so clearly you can see these Democrat candidates they're not going to be better than Jared Polis. They're not going to be better than anybody else that's running as a Democrat in this country because they're doing the same things. They want to stay on the same agenda. They want to fight those same battles that we're constantly fighting against. So really, to me, they're no different.
Yeah.
Nothing special.
No, they're not. They're the same guy, possibly going to perform worse. There were some notable things that even Jared Polis vetoed over the past several years. I don't think you'll get that from either one of these guys. I don't think you'll get that almost libertarian appeal, because there was some notable things on gun restrictions, and on there was some form of a tax. But there was a few things he vetoed that I thought was actually good. It made a fair libertarian appeal. And so but I don't think you're getting that from Michael Bennet or Phil Weiser. I just don't think so. They're a little more on the radical side. They're a little more entrenched. And
so replacing bad with worse.
Pretty much.
That's how it would happen.
Pretty much.
And we already know, I mean, as people living in Colorado, we all already feel the weight of the prices here.
Yeah.
The living conditions. It is horrible and hard, and the housing market sucks. And you get these people in office, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, half the time it gets hopeless.
Government overreach is going to get worse. Government spending is going to get worse.
Hey, granted, this was Trump's idea, but 50-year mortgages is what you get.
Yeah. I mean, you can't afford it otherwise.
No.
How can your average citizen...
I'm talking about getting freaking screwed on interest.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to know what you'd pay on a 50-year mortgage and interest.
It won't just be that. It'll be other things like that. And done in the name of trying to... I mean, next thing you know, you're going to be financing your eggs. Like, you're going to have 4 low monthly payments to the dadgum grocery store.
Yeah. Well, but that's the way it goes. Unless you have change. And that's the thing. We have to have change here. It will get there. That is not unrealistic.
Yeah. See, one thing I want to point out here is the Democrats constantly pushing affordability, constantly arguing for helping the little businesses, helping the housing crisis, and doing all these great masterful things. But the evidence does not support what they're claiming. How long have they been in power here?
Yeah.
How long have they had control of the entirety of the state government here? I don't even know the exact number of years, but it's been a very long time since we've had any form of real Republican, even not necessarily control, but contest and policy. and prices and law enforcement, all of that's gone downhill. All of it.
Yeah.
Over the whole course of their tenure. And then they turn around and they tell you they're going to fix it now. They've been saying that every time they run for election. Well, we're going to fix the housing crisis, or we're going to improve the average Americans or the average Coloradans' ability to maneuver, whatever their stupid slogan is. But for years and years and years, they've had control. What have they done?
Yeah.
They're the ones driving the prices up. Their policy is the ones screwing us.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones doing it. So how do we expect them to fix it? And why would we even believe them when they come in and say they're going to make it better?
Well, what's hard for me to understand is, like, from my perspective, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, you're still feeling the weight of these prices. And it's like,
yeah, it's not a...
You see this stuff happen, and it gets worse and worse as Democrats stay in power, but yet you're like, nope, I'm voting Democrat all the way. They're better. Trump's a Nazi. It's like, what? Can you not see? Look at this stuff. Look how horrible the housing market is. Look at how horrible the energy stuff is in this state. It's like...
Yeah, unfortunately for Democrats, all they got to do is attach Trump's name to something, and all their entire base automatically hates it. They don't even verify it.
Yeah. And if you want to have honest debate where the two parties can both benefit a state, both sides have to do research. They have to understand what's happening. And if the Democrats want an honest party, they have to kick out these idiots,
radicals,
who are causing nothing but problems, and put in a real candidate, not just the same old downhill junk that they keep putting in our government policies and ruining the state or the country.
The key here, for a two-party political system to work, you have to have, one, an intact social compact, and two, they have to have similar end goals. And when the compact is broken, which it is, because you can't trust them to have an honest debate with you, because they're not going to. That's been proven over and over and over again. They're so willing to lie to get into power and then stab you right in the back with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have a social compact in order.
Yep.
And you don't have even the same similar end goals. I mean, what we're talking about here with Republican versus Democrat at this point, as far as actual politicians go, and national state government goes, they're talking about socialism. They're talking about state-run programs and facilities and businesses. It's not. I mean, Zoran Mondani in New York. That's him. That's the goal.
Yeah,
that's what they're after. Free bus rides and state-run grocery stores. Like, that's what they're after, and that isn't. Republicans are not.
Well,
even close to that. They're aiming for smaller government. They're aiming for a free market. They're aiming for religious liberties, freedom of speech, Second Amendment, all that kind of stuff is in there. They're aiming for what this country was founded to be. But you can't get along with Democrats anymore necessarily. You can't even have a factual debate about anything, because the end goal or the base premise is not the same. They don't line up.
Yep.
I can't debate you how good oranges are while you're trying to debate how perfect a freaking piece of grass is.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even the same thing. You can't have any form of debate there.
No. And what I don't understand is that you have a Democrat in office, then you have more Democrats coming in claiming they want change. I'm like,
what are we changing?
What?
Because all the policy arguments, all the campaign promises are the same.
Exactly.
Same stuff.
Exactly.
It's just more government subsidies, which means more government taxes that will come, because Colorado's current economic situation, as far as the government's concerned, is pretty poor. The government's going broke.
Yeah. Well, what's
already upside down? They're already talking about cutting funding to massive programs.
Yeah.
And granted, they're trying to blame it on Trump. But the state's already upside down.
Yeah. No.
And they're going to add more government subsidies?
Here's what's going to happen. If you keep voting Democrats in and they keep pushing all this stuff, what's going to happen? You're going to go into the grocery store. You're going to buy a loaf of bread for $50. And you're going to walk out and you go, you know what? At least my bus ride is free home. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And what they don't understand is these socialist programs are not free. Socialism is not free.
No.
Every single time, because like you said, their money is the people.
Right.
If they want to fund something, it's taxpayers. So it doesn't matter if you want socialist programs, free buses, free whatever. You're going to pay $50 for a loaf of bread.
No.
Right? I mean,
gotta collect the tax somewhere.
It's exaggerated right now, but that's where it will go.
Or if you want to keep the same $6 or $7 or $12 loaf of bread, then you're gonna bring probably $100 home in a paycheck for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that tax has got to come from somewhere.
It will. It will.
It's not. I mean, especially the state doesn't have the ability to print money like the federal government does. So it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. And, Phil Weiser, it's the same thing. He's our current AG, but he's pushing the same things, like you said. Same stuff. But I still think Michael Bennet is the front runner for the Democrats, and he's the one that's going to be candidate. And that's where it goes to the Republican side. And we are so divided on every little thing. We don't have one guy that we'll all get behind and be like, you know what, maybe I disagree with what he's doing, but I like this guy. Or I disagree with what he's doing right here, but for the most part, he's a good Republican candidate. We don't do that.
No.
We don't.
No. No, we don't. We stay completely divided on this stuff. And there's a lot of Republican voters that'll end up voting third party or some form because the candidate they wanted didn't make it in.
Yeah.
So they won't vote, or they'll vote third party.
I ain't voting for that guy.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, you're handing the vote to the Democrats there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not changing anything. You're not helping anything.
Yeah.
We're not going to win that way.
Well, and the thing is, the research is just as important.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at all these Republican candidates, and there's one that stands out. He's good, right? But yeah, if one guy gets in, but there were two others, you had Victor Marx, Barbara Kirkmeyer, and Scott Bottoms. Victor Marx gets in there. Everybody who wanted to vote for Barbara, not going to vote. Everybody who wanted to vote for Scott Bottoms, not going to vote. So what do you got? You got like a third of the people voting for Victor Marx, while the entirety of the Democrat Party is voting for Michael Bennet. And that's why we lose right there. We cannot unify on one person.
We have to do that.
If we want change, we have to.
See, yeah, well, based on what we just described prior to this conversation about the issues that the Democrats are pushing and the agendas that they want to perform and the sort of existential nature of the future of the state based on these two very different policy agendas, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you want to nitpick a candidate and you want to find a candidate that you most align with. That works in a system where both parties have a very similar end goal.
Mm-hmm.
Just two different rounds, right?
Yeah.
But when you're actually having logical debate, because the other thing that really stood out to me, researching all this, these issues that everybody's campaigning on are the basic of the basic. It's not like we're talking advanced rocket science here. I mean, we're talking housing, we're talking energy prices, we're talking law enforcement, safety, just the bare necessities of the civilization.
Yeah.
And the two end goals are 180 degrees apart.
Mm-hmm.
They're two wholly, entirely different things. So it doesn't make any sense to me. If we're struggling this hard on the basics, we got to get behind somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We're not talking advanced, debate between Arminianism and 5-point Calvinism.
Yeah.
Because those two can debate because they come from the same premise.
Yep.
That Christ is Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And that he saves.
Yep.
Right? So you've got both sides have the same belief. Now they debate the route to that.
Yep.
Right? But that's what they're after.
But that's okay.
Yeah,
you're going to have disagreement. Yeah.
That's my point. But for Republicans, you've got to wake up and smell the roses. You got to see the Democrats' destination is not similar, anywhere close to the same. They will not leave you alone. And trust me, they will come after you. It may be a long time down the road, and maybe your kids.
Yeah.
But they're not going to stop. They're not similar. They don't have any form of regard for the well-being of the citizenry. That much is clear. I mean, you get 70, 80% issues in the Gen Pop, and Governor and House won't touch them.
Yep.
You're like, well, wait a minute. That's not a representation of the people. So we gotta wake up. You gotta realize this is bigger than you, and this is bigger than your candidate.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that we all have to pick the same guy, but whoever wins the primary, that's who we've got to get behind.
Yep.
Even if it's a candidate that you thought may or may not have been the right one or the best one even, or the one you most agreed with, but you've got to get behind him, because if you don't, Michael Bennett's going to be in office,
mm-hmm.
or Phil Weiser. Do you want that?
I don't.
Governor Kirkmeyer, though I'm not a fan of her, sounds a lot better than Governor Weiser or Governor Bennett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We have to wake up, and we have to realize this fight is a lot bigger than just how we feel about it.
Yeah.
We've got to unify the Republican Party. There's a lot of different groups. There's a lot of different, big issues. There's a lot of different people pushing for a lot of different things. But if we don't unify, hey, each individual could have their own individual issue.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't matter. It's not going to get touched if we continue to stay blue.
Yeah.
It's not going to get touched. Not a single one of them will.
No.
You have to unify.
Wait, if you don't, yeah, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just explained, it's not a matter of,
because we're residents here too.
Yeah. No, we are. And that's why we're doing this. We come from personal experience in this state.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't make a huge amount of money where we can just live comfortably. We live normal lives. We work our jobs. And yeah, it's hard. And the economy right now sucks.
The availability, for one, is extremely low.
Mm-hmm.
But two, with the availability that there is, we're going to be 40, 50 years old before we save up enough money to even make a down payment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We're coming from the same scenario.
Hmm. Well, yeah, and that brings us to the Republican candidates. I mean, Kirkmeyer, she's a current state senator. She's also experienced in federal legislature. But the biggest problem I see with her is straight up, I think she's a rhino.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. She's
not standing firm on Republican or conservative values.
She'll come out and say it.
Yeah.
She'll stand in front of a microphone and give a speech or a debate stage, and she'll argue for that stuff, but she's not for that.
You can look at her track record and the things she's voted on and pushed for and gets excited about, and that's
Yeah, her
Democrat-led policies.
Yeah, her voting record rats her out all the way through.
Yeah. She claims she wants to work on insurance prices, energy, property taxes, but that's not. I'm sure maybe in a way she wants to work on that, but I don't think it's fully true. I don't think that's what she wants to focus on in the sense that a Republican conservative would want.
What do you mean a decrease?
Yeah. Yeah. She's going to work on those same socialist
No, I
ideas.
think what she means when she's saying she wants to work on those things, I think she's sending a message to the Democrat Party saying, if I get in, I'm willing to let you have your way with these things so I can do a couple things over here on the fringe and make it look like I'm conservative.
Yep.
I think that's what she's saying. She's sending a message to them saying, let me help you, help me. Right.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Well, and just one of the things that she's voted on that I think is good to be brought to light, so people are aware and know her track record. That bill is HB 23-1143, and that's obviously most people are not going to know what that means.
You just rattle off a bunch of gibberish there.
But basically, what that is it's going to allow illegal immigrants.
Not going to allow, does allow.
Yes, currently. Sorry,
current
my
law.
bad.
It's current law.
Currently, it allows illegal immigrants to be in law enforcement, and it allows illegal immigrants to own a firearm. And you can look this up on the Colorado General Assembly website. You'll see she's a prime sponsor of this.
Which means she not only voted for it, but she was one of the ones that brought it to the floor.
Yes.
She was a part of writing the bill.
Yeah.
Right. There's no out for her here.
Mm-hmm.
She sponsored it.
Yeah.
Not just voted for it.
And like I said, she'll claim all these good things, but this is why research is so important, because you have to know what they actually stand on. And this is what she stands on. She claims to be Republican. She's not. She's voting for Democrat policy.
She's controlled opposition.
Yes. Yep. And that's
exactly what she is.
Yeah. The other one, whom I stand behind, is Victor Marx. Victor Marx is currently, he's the leading fundraiser.
Yep.
He is top of the list.
I think he's getting underestimated heavily.
He is. Yes.
I'm a part of a few of the groups of people talking about him, and you got your trolls in there that are saying all kinds of nonsense about him. But this guy, he's an underdog, but he's being underestimated.
Yeah.
They're not giving him the attention that he deserves, for one, but they're also not giving him credit for the actual threat to them, that threat to the Democrat establishment that he is. This guy has a solid base, and has a solid base not only just in conservatives, but he has a very large appeal to the independent crowd.
Yeah.
Right. He's got a very large appeal there. And he, my friend, as he calls himself, he is a very dangerous gentleman.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm all for that. This gets to the heart of the conversation we were having last week about meekness.
Yeah.
If there is a meek man running in this race, it is him.
Yep.
Very calm, very controlled, very strong, very stubborn. Whatever descriptor you want to use in that general vicinity, that's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's hard-nosed.
He's an ex-Marine.
He's an ex-Marine. He has his All Things Possible Ministries.
Yep.
And he's got experience with the worst of humanity too.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very unique perspective to have going into government, because it gives him the ability to talk and speak to things of that nature that most politicians can't or only attempt to when they really don't have any idea. And it's quite clear to anybody that has experience in that field.
Yeah.
Right. He's got a very unique perspective as far as that's concerned. And I mean, he's got my vote.
Yeah, me
He's
too.
had my vote since he announced he was running.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, and one of the things I think is awesome here is as a Republican or a conservative, if you supported Charlie Kirk, you can support this man.
Oh yeah,
Charlie Kirk showed his support. Yep, he called him a friend and a spiritual mentor.
Yep, Charlie Kirk definitely was in this guy's corner.
So it's Victor Marx is by far the clear choice for the Republican Party, and I believe that this state needs to unite behind him.
Well, and I think he's the man for the job, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this, personally, I've done a lot of research here. I've been looking into this a lot. Personally, I do like Scott Bonos, just on a personal level. I think he's solid, but to me, I think he belongs in the state house where he is. I think he's a good bill writer. He's got a good history of writing those things. He has, I think, if I remember right, he's got 5 bills that he wrote. Only one of them ever was taken a vote on and passed. The rest of them got archived.
Yeah.
Basically, the Democrats in control. They're saying, well, we're just going to go ahead. Slide that one off the table there.
Yeah.
But I think he's a solid candidate. I think he's got solid character, but he's not as old as Victor, and he doesn't have the experience Victor does.
Yeah.
And the one thing Victor has that he doesn't is Victor is not a politician. He's a very, very strong man in the faith, and he's a very, very, just super likable individual too.
Yeah.
He's kind of got that well-polished ability to talk. He knows how to communicate things really well, but also very directly.
Yeah. It goes back to that meekness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that's important is as conservatives and as Christians, you can support him. He's not one that's conservative that challenges Christian values. He's not a Christian that challenges conservative values. And most of the time those line up pretty well. But
well, that's because the fight is becoming more and more dogmatic.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more clear that there's a spiritual element to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of the good politicians now coming up are really good Christians.
Yeah.
Really strong Christians.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason for that. That's why the Democrats get worse and worse and more variable. And the Republican side, they're starting to eject some of these rhinos. It's a very slow process, and I think people are still in the waking up phase.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Well, when you have such a massive wave of evil flowing into this country, you have to have an equal and greater force of good coming back up.
Well, yeah, you have to have at least equal and opposite response.
Yeah.
If not greater.
Yes.
To push it back out.
As Christians, our moral duty is to stand up to evil.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
As conservatives, we want the same thing. We don't want this wicked evil here.
No, that is why accountability is such a big deal.
That's why the Democrats hate accountability.
Yeah, that's why they make it so easy. That's why they're for reducing minimum sentences on big time felonies like armed robbery or assault with a deadly weapon or murder or homicide or sexual assault charges of any kind.
Yeah.
That's why they reduce those. I think partly because some of them might actually be guilty of it themselves, but I have nothing to prove that.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Victor Marx that's one of his things. He wants to make this place safe again.
Well, and that's one of his life skill sets.
And he wants to put violent offenders behind bars, and he wants to keep them there, not put them there on short sentences.
Yeah, or release them the next day.
Exactly.
I mean, Colorado has practiced a form of catch and release with its violent criminals.
Yeah.
People like Tina Peters, who was allegedly investigating, voter fraud in her county, but put in prison for, whatever. I'm vaguely familiar with her case.
Yeah.
But I know that she's kind of a controversial figure because she's got one perspective as conservatives look at her, but she's got a completely different one as Democrats look at her.
Mm.
So it's kind of one of them politically motivated, politically charged cases.
Yeah.
And she can sit in prison, an old lady. They're going to throw an old lady in jail for almost 10 years for some form of attempt at voter fraud. But then we turn around and illegals that rape and murder people are they're playing catch and release.
Yeah.
What's not political about that?
Yeah.
What's accountable about that? What's honest or true or good about any of that? Nothing. There's nothing there. It's all empty words. They can play their game with your life. That's it.
Well, and so the Democrats still want to play on the idea that they want to keep us safe too. We're making this place safer. No, you're not.
Making it safer for illegals.
Yeah, exactly. They don't tell you who.
Making it more dangerous to be an actual just citizen.
And that's why Victor Marx is doing what he's doing too. He's working on illegal immigrants.
Well,
the drug trafficking, the fentanyl is horrible, dangerous, and he wants that out of here too.
One of the things I think we're so familiar with, especially as young as we are, we're so familiar with the accountability, hypocrisy from the left, is our political coming of age, high school and shortly thereafter. We grew up listening to Hillary Clinton call us all deplorables.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a white, straight Christian man, you were the evil. You are the sickness. You are the problem. You are the worst thing to exist, says Adolf Hitler. Really?
Yeah.
I am?
Didn't she claim recently to be a Christian too?
A number of them have.
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I heard Hillary do something.
I don't know if she made that claim per se, but she probably did. She was in it. She was giving a speech in a church.
Good timing.
I know. Just like Don Lemon's a Christian.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's why I say that is the hypocrisy there is just so blatantly clear because one, it's obvious. It's not hard to see, but two, they've been doing it, at least for mine and Daniel's lives, the entirety of our conscious existence in the political realm. That's been the same story over and over and over and over again. We're all evil. We're all racist. We're all bigots. And meanwhile, sexual predators get to go hang out on Epstein Island.
Yeah. Well, and that's why unity is so important.
Yeah, we have to defeat that.
It doesn't matter.
That goal, that mission is far more important than the differences between
opinion.
Yeah.
Opinion doesn't matter when you're standing and staring at the face of evil.
No. Only truth does. And only truth wins.
Yeah. So that's why we have a call to the Conservative Party to unify behind Victor Marx.
Mm-hmm. He's the guy. He's the guy for the job. He's the man for the mission. This guy was put here for such a time as this, and I believe he was put in this race. I think he was called here biblically by God. He's the answer.
This is
at least the start of the answer.
Yeah, this is no paid infomercial. We're not paid to say this. This is our honest opinion. This is what we see in this guy. He is doing fantastic things. His ministry,
his whole life,
searching and rescuing children stuck in human trafficking.
Yeah, well, after growing up in some of the most evil circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a guy that had every statistical reason to turn out to be a dirtbag. That was Victor. But no, he followed Christ. And he's been going after people in that exact same scenario that he was in and saving them.
Yeah.
This man is very powerful as far as a biblical ministry is concerned. He's very, very powerful man.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got God behind him. There's no doubt of that.
And he's got my vote.
He's got my vote.
Well, and the one thing I wanted to point out in this last election of the presidency, did you see what happened when the party united?
Yeah. Records were set.
Landslide victory.
Records were set.
That's what happens when the Conservative Party unites. And that's the same thing that can happen in the state of Colorado. This is no different.
Yeah. You just kind of got to get off your butt, get off the couch and quit having excuses as to why you don't want to vote for the guy because you like somebody else better.
Yeah, well, yes, the conservatives are out there. It's not like we're some major minority here. They are in this state.
The Democrats need us to believe that.
Yes.
But at the same time, they're bringing the illegals in to pack the vote. Why do you think that is?
Exactly.
Why do you think that is? Because they're outnumbered and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not outnumbered by a whole lot, but by enough.
And that's why it's so important. We have to do this now.
Yes.
Because if we don't, yeah, we're going to be outnumbered forever.
It won't take very long. The cities will be packed full of immigrants that are not citizens here, illegals. The courts will be packed.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to sue for anything. There will be no recourse, and that may not be the result of this election, but that result's coming very soon.
Well, and honestly, it could be.
They're this far away from locking Colorado down.
You get another governor in there, like Michael Bennet, who's there for a long time.
Well, you get another set of representatives and governors like we've had for the last 4 to 8 years. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're in big trouble.
Unless change happens, this could very well be a very big turning point in this state.
Well, I mean,
and a turning towards the worse. But also there's a potential to turn for the good.
Yeah, it has a major opportunity here.
Yeah.
It's turning for the better.
Yeah,
this state's already looking at statistically speaking, there's more people leaving it than coming in.
Mm-hmm.
People are already abandoning ship.
Yeah.
And we got to stop that. We got to stop this evil from taking our government over and forcing it down our throats. We can't sit idly by and say, well, no, see, I'm a Christian and it would be unloving if I got involved in such issues. I can't have an opinion there because I've just got to be loving. That's not
very loving.
That's borderline heresy. It's not loving. It violates the definition of love.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. That's a falsehood.
Yeah. Well, and at the bare minimum, you can do your part by voting.
Yeah.
You don't have to be out there podcasting and being social media influencers all over the place. You have the right to vote. Use it. Use it to make change. Yes.
That's all we're asking.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to get out there and do a bunch of free advertisement for Victor Marx. All we're asking for is you go vote for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's pretty private. You don't have to tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
If you need help, I'll drive you. I'll put that offer out there right now.
Yeah.
I'll drive you. Okay. That's all we're asking for is a vote. We're not asking for, we're laying out the case for voting for him.
Yeah.
We're laying out the reasons why we think you should, but we're not asking you to do that with everybody else. We're just asking you to vote for him.
Don't let opinion ruin the state.
Yeah.
Don't divide over it.
Yeah.
That's what has to change in order for this country and the state to change.
There is an objective truth, and we have to defend it.
Yep. And overall, Victor Marx in his life has shown his Christian values, and in his race for governor, he's continued to show it. And by far, he is the best candidate for this state.
Absolutely is.
If no one stands up, evil is just going to run rampant. And that's not like that's going to happen over there, but it's not going to happen here. It will come where you are. It will come to your town. It will come to your city. It will be there. And the further and further this goes, the harder and harder it is going to be for you to live.
Then God forbid even reverse it.
Yeah. Yeah. George Washington said, human happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected.
100%. You notice the more choice we have and the more, quote, free will we have, the more ability to pursue comfort we have, the less happy we are, the more angry we are, the more grouchy we are, the more hateful we are.
Yeah.
And as you go through human history, it always seems like the people that have less have more spiritually, because their priorities are set straight on what actually is important.
Yeah.
See, that's huge. That's huge. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's undoubtedly true.
Yeah, I mean, it's so evident. I mean, you look at third world countries. Oftentimes, yeah, you've got your bad people.
But yeah,
But-
they're usually rampant with evil.
You also have the people there, and they have nothing. They don't have houses. They don't have air conditioning. They don't have access to food whenever they want it, water whenever they want it. But yet, more often than not, when you meet a person, just an average person living in a third world country, usually they're very generous.
Yeah.
They're very kind.
Well,
But that's the thing.
You
That's
remember-
what they have. They have their moral duty,
Yeah.
and that's what they stand on. They don't have anything else.
Well-
That's the way they have to live their lives.
you remember that missionary that we won't name from our church that was in Haiti, teaching them how to build things, teaching them how to frame things, teaching them how to build companies, teaching them how to build buildings for themselves, how to live, how to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent a great deal of time talking about the necessary defenses for his compound, because they do have to defend it.
Yeah.
They do have to, because it's a very dangerous place for them. But at the same time, he was telling stories of these hungry people that go days without food. But because he was down there of his own volition in his own time, doing these things for them, helping them, these people that hadn't eaten in days were bringing him their place.
Yeah.
They were bringing him their food
Mm-hmm.
that they wouldn't be able to eat.
Yeah.
And you're like, how?
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Where does that even come from in a human being?
You wouldn't see that kind of generosity in this country.
No. You won't.
Not at all.
And if you do, it is usually from a church. That kind of thing comes from the Church of Christ.
We must stand firm on the solid truth, the solid rock that is Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this nation was founded on. That's what we have to revert to. We have to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If not, we will fail.
That's
Wasn't it? I don't know if you saw this the other day when Trump was up there talking about he wanted to, I think it was May 17th, he said, that he wanted to revert this country back. It'd be a day to revert back to God as a foundation of this country. Did you see that?
Oh, vaguely, I remember that.
And I find that to be very interesting. That is
That's
awesome.
a true inspiration.
Yeah.
That's an inspiration bigger than Trump himself.
When he was talking about it, he's like, we are way further ahead of where we thought we would be. He said he thought it would take 3 or 4 years to get to where we are.
Mm-hmm.
But he can see that the country itself is reviving.
It's aching for truth.
Yeah, the truth is coming back up. The people are standing up. People are waking up.
And that's what you get from a society that has spent so long being lied to,
Mm-hmm.
Republican or Democrat.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Both sides have proven to have serious trust issues. And when I say trust issues, I mean us trusting them issues.
Yeah.
There's a number of figures in the Trump administration currently that I don't trust at all, and I think probably could go to prison. There's a number of figures there that I think are worse than the Democrats because they're hiding under a fake banner, right? And I think there's a lot of Democrats, they're very open about their stances, but they could go sit in the same cell with them. And so that all I'm trying to prove with that is that Republicans have a lot of the same issues because they're just as godless.
Yeah.
And we cannot take that back without Christ. We cannot. We cannot reestablish any form of trust. We cannot reestablish any form of justice without the truth. And that's what this nation is aching for, is truth, is something tangible and real.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that.
Yeah.
Everything's confusing. Nobody knows what's going on. And he said, she said, and it's like, there's just so much information everywhere, and you don't even know what's real. And at this point, what's AI generated?
Yeah. Right.
And you're like, can somebody just be clear?
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on.
For once.
What are we doing?
Yeah. And you're right. People are sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Just want some truth.
Yeah.
Some basic answers. Yeah. Some simple things that aren't hard. Like I pointed out earlier, all the campaign issues from both sides are just basics. Just basics, because they have two different end goals.
Yeah.
The two sides are not fighting for the same thing.
No. And you can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. Especially in the federal government, watching these presidential races, it's been so clear that both sides are totally opposite and fighting for two different things that do not match up in the end.
Well, yeah, but one side is advocating for lower taxes and advocating for less regulation and more economic freedom and giving back to the people. And the other side's entire platform, from county to federal level, is just abortion.
Yeah.
You're not even debating at that point.
Yeah.
You're making a choice between good and evil there, and really a partial good to a pure evil.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even getting the maximum good, because a lot of the right wing is still godless.
Yeah.
There's several figures up there that are pretty good, that are God-centered, that are truthful, that are honest, but not many. The godless right is just as bad as the godless left.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to find godly figures.
Yep.
And just to say it one more time, Victor Marx is that guy.
Well, and what I want to make clear is we're not voting for a pastor.
No.
That has to be so clear in politics. We're not voting for a pastor. Trump was not voted on for being a good pastor.
No, he was not.
Not at all. That's not the way we're voting in the state government either.
No, you're not voting for a pastor. You're not voting for a clergy member. You're not voting on who the most holy is. In a way, I guess maybe you could argue that, but it doesn't. It doesn't matter. You're voting for a guy who can go there and do the job, and not only be loving and be kind and be respectful and be compassionate, but also enforce justice.
Yeah.
Enforce the law, and bring a sort of civility and order to a society that so desperately on one side wants to be orderless, wants to be anarchy, chaotic.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you can listen to all kinds of Charlie Kirk videos and speeches and everything else, and that's exactly where he stood too.
Yep.
He stood behind Trump, not as his pastor, but as his president.
Right.
And it's a big difference.
Well, every Christian's got a different calling. Just because one doesn't have the same calling as you doesn't mean you trample them for it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, he's a pastor and he's not doing a pastor job the way I would, so he's not good. No.
This unity thing, it involves Christians too. Christians do the same exact thing.
Christians have to be the baseline.
Yeah.
Have to be the baseline for it. They have to be the ones to go out of their way to do it.
There's Christians out there arguing over candidates too. It's like, it's not even that you have Christians that you're united on this guy and conservatives united on this guy and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, everybody's all separated out all over the place, and there's no unity, and that has to happen.
We have to come together. That's the only way to beat them. That's the only way to beat the Democrats in this. And quite frankly, the majority of our talk about Democrats is in reference to politicians.
Yeah.
You walk down the street, you can have Democrat neighbors.
Yeah.
And most of them I have really good interactions with.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are kind. Most of them, I'll talk to you. They'll treat you like a human being. They don't have this massive issue with you. We're not talking about the Democrat populace, though some of them are definitely included in that camp with the politicians, because some of them are that way. There's no doubt of that.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about earlier on the voter ID bill, there's a lot of Democrats that are like, what the hell's going on? This ain't the party that I've always had.
Yeah.
This ain't the Democrat party.
There's Democrats waking up.
This is a communist party.
Yeah.
And we have to get through to them as well, which means there has to be a level of grace that you have to operate with, while being truthful, while being honest.
Meekness.
Yeah, that word keeps coming up. It's almost like I brought it up last week for a reason.
Yeah, do a study on meekness. Understand what Jesus says when he says the meek shall inherit the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what he means by that, because it is so important.
Yeah, I mean, as we said last week, there's no cause for violence. It's all got to be peaceable. Otherwise, we give into the same issues and we're no better. But you've got to know that you cannot be weak. You cannot just stand by and sideline yourself either. You have to be meek. You have to be strong. And you have to be, what's the phrase? Wise as serpents and,
I don't know.
I can't remember it.
Well,
wise as serpents and kind as doves or something like that.
Mm.
But anyway.
Jesus Christ was like the pinnacle embodiment of meekness.
Mm-hmm. And he was also, one thing I want to point out is he was violent. He did perform violence. Which, just the fact alone that he did that dictates that there is a time and place for it.
Well, why was he doing that? Because the people were violating his Father.
Yeah.
They were violating God.
Well, they weren't just, humanity lives in violation of God.
Yes.
It wasn't just a violation of God. It was the intentional desecration.
Yeah.
Which is, there's a lot of that happening. And violence is not necessary. It is not a first option for sure. You want to be peaceful about it. That was the majority of Jesus's ministry, was peace, compassion, truthfulness, a call to repentance, to be saved, to be changed, but peace.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the question, but it definitely needs to be an end game, zero-sum game kind of play.
Yeah,
for sure,
absolutely.
And which indicates that you have to be ready for it.
Oh yeah,
you have to be able to be that, to be violent. That's what makes you a strong individual to start with. Just because you're incapable of violence doesn't mean you're good. Doesn't mean that you're a good person because you're incapable of being bad necessarily in a violent sense. All human beings are bad. But you've got to be capable of it, because one day that ticket might call your name.
Yep.
And you got to be ready for it. Got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, if you like what you hear, you like what you like what we talk about? You like the way we talk about it?
I do.
Follow us on any place that you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X. We're all there. Share, like, review, subscribe, all of it.
Yep.
Help us get the message out.
Yeah.
Help us get our arguments out. Help us reach those individuals. Help us change hearts and minds before it's too late.
Yes, sir.
Before we go, Daniel, you got any extra comments you'd like to add?
Victor Marks 2026.
Amen, brother. Amen. Well, with that, Romans 8:28.